The story of the five goddesses in a faraway land in the continent of Europe. There are five siblings with different powers and abilities. The most powerful and the eldest one is Dionysius. Dionysius loves plants and animals. He is the god of growth, fertility, and nature. With his ability, he can grow a tree with a single snap and heal animals with just his whisper. Dionysius is a brave, strong, and powerful god. The second goddess is Antea. Antea loves to collect colorful and pleasant flowers. Antea is known for being beautiful and simple, but with her sting, you can be paralyzed, worse die. The most hardworking and helpful among the siblings is Demeter. Demeter is the goddess of harvest and fertility. She often works in the farm. She helps the farmer to have a good harvest. Demeter had control over the harvest and the growing of grains. She could cause plants to grow or not grow, and had control over the seasons. The next goddess is the most beautiful woman on earth, Aphrodite. Aphrodite is the goddess of love and beauty. Her special powers were those of love and desire. She had a belt that had the power to cause others to fall in love with the wearer. She had the powers to affect a number of emotions in both humans and gods that makes her powerful. The youngest of the siblings is Harmonia. Harmonia is the goddess of harmony and concord. She had an ability to influence all forms of peace, including mental, physical, spiritual, and conceptual ones. Regardless of the area and numbers involved, she can also end all conflicts, including first fights, gunfights, mass riots, and war. Let us explore and go deeper in this continent through the help of these powerful god and goddesses.
I am Dionysus, the god of growth, fertility, and nature. Through my powers, we will travel and witness the mesmerizing beauty of the continent called Europe. And to know more about Europe, here are some basic facts about Europe. Europe is second to the smallest continent by land, with approximately 9,906,600 square kilometers. Europe is third of the largest continent according to population, with 741.4 million people. Europe is composed of 46 countries such as Finland, Ireland, Iceland, Sweden, France, Spain, and many more. In Europe, the highest point is the Mount Elbrus in Russia. It stands for about 5,643 meters above sea level. The largest lake is the Lake Ladoga in northwestern Russia with an area of 17,700 square kilometers. The largest river is the Volga River in Russia with 3,530 kilometers long. The smallest country in Europe is the Vatican City. Vatican City is a tiny country in the Italian city of Rome. The Pope, which is the leader of the worldwide Catholic, lives here with the other 800 citizens. The biggest country in Europe is the Russian Federation or the Russia. It is also the biggest country around the world. Here are the popular countries in Europe. First, France. France is also known as the Hexagon, stretching from 1,000 kilometers from top to bottom and about the same from side to side. France is also the biggest country in the Western Europe. The Iceland is also known as the land of fire and ice because of its extreme landscape with a glacier and volcanic spring next to each other, the land of the midnight sun. Norway is called as the land of the midnight sun because the northern tip is located above the Arctic Circle, where the sun shines 20 hours a day in the mid of July and the mid of May.
The youngest of the siblings is Harmonia. Harmonia is a goddess of harmony and concord. She had an ability to influence all forms of peace, including mental, physical, spiritual, and conceptual ones. Regardless of the area and numbers involved, she can also end all conflicts, including first fights, gunfights, mass riots, and war.
In 1492 is the year when the Europe is discovered. Scientists who have studied the genetic past of an Icelandic family is now claim the first Americans reached Europe, a full 5 centuries before Columbus bumped into an island in the Bahamas during his first voyage of discovery. But where the Europe originated from? It's in Africa. Yeah, it's in Africa. The first European came from the Africa via the Middle East and settled there about 43 years ago. But some of those pioneers, such as 40,000 years old individual from Romania, have little communication of today's Europeans.
Who named Europe? The name Europe comes from the Latin word Europa, which in turn derives from the Greek word epsilon-vis, meaning wide face. In Greek mythology, Europa was the beautiful daughter of a Phoenician king named Agenor of Phoenix. What is the oldest country in Europe? It's Portugal. The borders of Portugal were defined in 1139 CE, meaning it is officially the oldest nation in Europe. Before the country was acknowledged as Portugal, the area had passed through the hands of many empires and civilizations. Its capital city, Lisbon, is known to be much older than Rome.
Aphrodite, ancient Greek goddess of sexual love and beauty, identified with Venus by the Romans. The Greek word Apros means foam, and Hesiod relates in the Theogony that Aphrodite was born from the white foam produced by the severed genitals of Uranus, heaven. After his son, Cronus, threw them into the sea, Aphrodite was in fact widely worshipped as a goddess of sea and seafaring. She was also honored as the goddess of war, especially in Sparta, Thebes, Cyprus, and other places. However, she was known primarily as a goddess of love and fertility, and even occasionally presided over marriage. Although prostitutes considered Aphrodite their patron, her public cult was generally solemn and even is 5 languages that is commonly used in Europe. They are the Russian, German, French, English, and Turkish. Number 1. Russian. Perhaps a surprise for many individuals, Russian tops this list as the most spoken language in Europe with 120 million native speakers on the continent. This is particularly interesting because while most languages in Europe use the Latin alphabet, Russian uses the Cyrillic alphabet instead. Number 2. German. The language of philosophers and thinkers, German comes in second for the largest native-speaking population in Europe. It's the sole official language of Germany, Austria, and Liechtenstein, and it's a co-official language in Switzerland, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Number 3. French. After Russian and German, the next most spoken language in Europe is French, with about 80 million native speakers. It is the official language of France, of course, as well as a co-official language of Belgium, Switzerland, and Luxembourg. Number 4. You had to know this was coming, right? English. The global lingua franca has 400 million native speakers worldwide. With around 70 million living of those in Europe, it's the de facto but not official language of the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. But the large number of English-speaking expats residing in Europe also adds to this number. Number 5. Turkish. Coming in at number 5, Turkish is the official language of Turkey and has about 70 million native speakers. It also has a co-official status in Cyprus and is widely spoken around the Mediterranean, particularly in Macedonia, Greece, and Serbia.
Today, I portray the role of Anthea. Anthea is the third goddess. She was the goddess of flowers, blossoms, vegetation, and human love. She can be seen in Anthean vase paintings where she was depicted as one of Aphrodite's attendants. When the spring flower bloom, people still come to a center on the island of Crete or a temple in Argos to honor her. So the next topic that I'm going to discuss is the traditional costumes of Europe. So it is known as the folk costumes of Europe. It is known as a regional or national costumes where traditional garments that express the wearer's identity throughout the costume. The folk costumes were quite common among various ethnic groups, notably the Nordic cultures. The outfits were designed for everyday occasions, traditional festivals, and formal wear. The most famous French traditional clothing could be the Breton costumes or the Alsatian costume. So number 1 is the Breton costume. Breton costume is a formal wear or a festive clothing na ginagamit or sinusuot sa Europe. And then, it says here that some are decorated according to profession or location. So, sabi daw dito na yung Breton costume ay dinedecorate according sa profession and kung saan nakatira yung tao na yon. And then, the next one is the Alsatian costume. It says here that Alsatian costume is a costume consisted of a large, long-sleeve cotton blouse, a long, ample skirt, converting the calves down to the ankles. So it is consisted as the white and red colors here that makikita natin sa picture na to. So sinasabi dito na yung Alsatian costume daw ay ginagamit ng mga farmers or sinusuot nila kapag sila ay pupunta ng farm because Europe or isa ang farmers sa mga kinikilalang pangkabuhayan sa Europe. That's all. Thank you.
I am Demeter, the goddess of the harvest that presides over grains and the fertility of the earth. Pizza, croissants, creme brulee, Wiener Schnitzel, and pasta. Yes, Europe is home to some incredible foods. There's far more to European food than just the classics. They may not be as well known, but they're possibly even more delicious than their famous siblings. Come take a look. First is the arancini in Italy. These little fried rice balls are seriously to die for, typically stuffed with meat, tomatoes, mozzarella, mushrooms, pistachios, or aubergine. These heavy morsels of crispy goodness are then coated in breadcrumbs and deep fried. Pierogi in Poland. These are dumplings made of dough, usually filled with potatoes, ground meat, sauerkraut, cheese, or fruit. They can be topped with butter, sour cream, or fried onion. Waffles in Belgium. Of course, everyone knows all about Belgian waffles. They are simply amazing. Always try them with Nutella, cream, and strawberries. Cheese fondue in Switzerland. Traditional Swiss fondue is made with Gruyere and Emmental cheese with an added well of white wine and kirsch. Cevepi in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Cevepi are grilled skinless ground beef sausages usually served with flatbread, onions, creamy kajmak cheese, and a chevar. Palatschinken in Austria. Think of these as a slightly thicker and fluffier version of crepes. They are seriously delicious. Patika in Slovenia. This traditional nut roll is made of sweet dough that is rolled out very thinly and spread with a paste made from ground nuts and a sweetener like honey, rolled up into a lug and baked. Lastly, we have moussaka in Greece. This dish is built on either potatoes or aubergines, layered with ground meat and either a tomato or bechamel sauce, sometimes topped with cheese and then baked in the oven. Well, that's it for the food you must eat in Europe. Now, let's take a look on the next slide.
Let's talk about religion in Europe. Religion in the European Union is diverse. The largest religion in the Europe is Christianity, which accounted for 72.8% of Europe population as of 2018. Smaller groups include those of Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, Hinduism, and some East Asian religions, most concentrated in Germany and France. Also present are revival movements of pre-Christianity European folk religions, including Heathenism, Rodnovery, Romova, and Druidry. Over the last several decades, religious practice has been on the decline in process of secularization. Many countries has experienced falling church attendance and membership in recent years. The countries with the most people reporting no belief in any sort of spirit, God, or life force are France, 40%, Czech Republic, 37%, Sweden, 34%, the Netherlands, 30%, Estonia, 29%, Germany, 27%, Belgium, 27%, and Slovenia, 26%. The most religious countries are Romania, 1% are non-believers, and in Malta, 2% non-believers.
And here are some famous churches in Europe. First, the St. Peter's Basilica from Castel San Angelo, showing the dome rising behind the Maderno's facade. The second one, Santa Maria della Salute in Venice. And the third one, the Cathedral Basilica in Poland. The fourth, Cortea de Argis Monastery in Romania. And the fifth, Cathedral of St. Peter and Mary in Cologne. 6. The Lutheran Church of Dresden. And 7. The Great Synagogue in Zen. The 8th is the newly built Sacred Building, the Central Mosque of Cologne.
Here are some arts and crafts in Europe. The first one, The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. The picture or the painting shows the view of the night sky from his asylum room before the sunrise with some additional of imaginary village. Edimoiles de Avignon by the famous painter Pablo Picasso. The painting portrays the 5 female nude prostitutes in Barcelona street. The next one, the Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is the most popular painting in the Renaissance period. Do you know who made this popular painting? You can put your answer in the comment box. Yes, correct! Leonardo da Vinci made the most popular painting Mona Lisa. Winter is a bronze sculpture portrays a young woman wearing a winter clothes made by a popular neoclassical sculptor Jean Antoine Houdon in year 1787.
So today I'm going to discuss about the local works and economic resources of Europe. So first one is the mineral resources that we can found in Europe. So what is mineral resources? With rocks and structures from virtually all geologic periods, Europe possesses a wide variety of useful minerals. So ang Europe ay mayaman sa mga mineral resources, and one of these ay ang tinatawag natin na uranium. Isa siyang example ng mineral resources. So, ang mineral resources daw ay isang radioactive or chemical element. Sila yung mga nagpo-produce ng mga nuclear fuel para magkaroon tayo ng mga energy or source of energy para magkaroon tayo ng mga electricity sa ating mga bahay, sa ating mga company, and other establishments. So next one is the petroleum and natural gas. So known petroleum and natural gas reserves and inadequate for Europe's rising requirements. So isa rin ang petroleum and natural gas ay mayaman sa Europe. So petroleum and natural gas, ito yung nagpo-produce ng mga gasoline, yung mga magagamit natin pang luto, and also gas fuel para sa mga sasakyan para ito ay gumana at ito ay mapakinabangan. So, third one is precious metals. Europe once widely available reserves of gold appear largely exhausted. Some gold and silver are still produced, mainly Spain, Sweden, and southern East Europe. So, mayaman din ang Europe sa mga precious metals. So, ano ba to? Ito yung mga gold and silver na ginagamit natin bilang isang accessories. So, ang mga gold and silver ay pwede nating investment. For example, kapag nagipit tayo, pwede natin tong ibenta. And also, so fourth one is the water resources. The mountainous and upland areas of Europe collect great amounts of surface water, which supply the river and lakes. So, isa din ang mga water resources na pinagmamalaki ng Europe. So, when you go to Europe, you can see a clear water and also falls. Doon din sila mayaman, or doon din sila, isa din yun sa mga pinagmamalaki nila, ang mga water resources na makikita natin sa Europe. So next one is the biological resources. Some reference to plant, animal, and human resources it's needed to complement any discussion of European resources. So when we say biological resources, ito yung mga plant, animals na makikita natin sa mga surroundings natin. So, animals is we can use as our daily food, di ba? And also, plants for us, plants is used to grow seeds. So, ang plants, di ba, para bumunga siya ng mga halaman na ginagamit din ng mga tao para ating makain. So, next one is trade. So, kilala rin ang Europe sa tinatawag nating trade. With its ever more sophisticated industry producing outstanding exports and its large importation of petroleum products, metals, other raw materials, and foodstuffs, Europe accounts for a large percentage of world commerce. So, ang ginagawa ng Europe para magkaroon or pumasok yung pera sa economy nila is nag-trade sila ng mga products, which is yun din naman yung ginagawa ng mga ibang country, which is dito din sa Philippines. So when you say trade is yung products mo is isi-send mo sa ibang country para mapakinabangan din nila at para ma-endorse mo din sa kanila kung ano ba yung product na ginagamit mo dito sa sariling bansa na to, and para ma-share mo rin yun sa ibang mga tao. And last one is the tourism industry. So, isa rin to sa mga local works and economic resources ng Europe. So, when we say tourism, it is the outstanding growth industry of tourism, supplementing business, professional, and student travels. So, syempre, bawat taon ay may mga pumupuntang um, at tourists or mga turista sa Europe, which is maganda kasi pumapasok sa kanila yung pera nga. Kaso nga lang, napakasad nga lang na balita kasi ngayong pandemic is um, konti na lang yung bumibiyahe dahil nga merong um, merong pandemic, which is dapat ngayon ay nasa loob lang tayo ng bahay, but siguro soon, 'di ba, ay magtutuloy-tuloy din yung pag-usbong ng tourism industry, and also we should always promote our own destination in our own country.
European destinations by dance styles. Here are some traditional dances you can expect to see when visiting these European destinations. First, we have flamenco in Spain. Did you know that the little dancer emoji on your phone, particularly the woman in the red floaty dress with her hands mid-clap, she is wearing the traditional garment you might see on a flamenco dancer. Flamenco dancing, on the other hand, is native to regions in Spain, accompanied by singing, clapping, and snapping in some soulful guitars. Dancers carry themselves proudly, waving their arms and stomping their feet in time to the beat. In Greece, they have Greek dancing. In general, dancers will assemble into a circle, holding onto one another by hand or on the shoulders, and step or leap in a counterclockwise direction. What order you stand in can depend on age or social status within the community, and it's best not to disrupt these traditions if you aren't sure where to go. Can-can in France. The can-can is traditionally performed in music halls by a chorus line of women, though it was often a dance for men in the 18th century. Women dancing the can-can will almost always be wearing blustery skirts that billow upwards when dancers kick their legs. The dance used to be considered quite scandalous, but nowadays is incomplete without a few cartwheels and splits. Tarantula in Italy. Its beginnings are incredibly strange, coming about as a result of tarantula bites. When given the right music, the inflicted were supposed to snap out of their hysteria and begin dancing what is now known as the tarantula. It is generally performed by couples that skate and quick step around one another, turning and sweeping their arms. Last but not the least is the polka in Germany. The dance is traditionally upbeat, done in pairs or alone. Moving in tempo, dancers will hop and kick, adding in steps as they choose and keeping in time with the lively music. The polka is a loose dance that's meant to be fun and hike up the energy in ballrooms.
European literature. Number 1. The Metamorphosis. The Metamorphosis is a novel written by Franz Kafka, which was first published in 1950. One of Kafka's best-known works, The Metamorphosis tells the story of salesman Gregor Samsa who wakes one morning to find himself transformed into a huge insect. Number 2. Perfume, the story of murder. With his incredible talent of discerning scents, Jean-Baptiste Grenelle is one of 18th century France's finest perfumers. He becomes obsessed with capturing an elusive aroma, the scent of young womanhood. His search takes a deadly turn, and when the bodies of 12 young females are found. Number 3. Les Miserables. Les Miserables is a French historical novel by Victor Hugo, first published in 1862. The novel is usually referred to by its original French title, which can be translated from the French as the Miserables. The wretched, the miserable ones, the poor ones, the wretched poor, or the victim. Number 4. The Inferno. After waking up with amnesia in a hospital, Robert Langdon teams up with Sienna Brooks, one of his doctors, to protect the world from the evil plan of a mad scientist. Number 5. Hamlet. It is a Shakespeare's longest play with 30,557 words. Set in Denmark, the play depicts Prince Hamlet and his revenge against his uncle Claudius. who has murdered Hamlet's father in order to seize his throne and marry Hamlet's mother.
You want to witness a jaw-dropping and breathtaking sceneries? Let's go and we will travel the tourism attraction in Europe. Put your sunglasses on, ready to be tan, and prepare your sexy body as we visit the Numana Alto Beach in Italy. Numana Alto Beach is a very quiet and peaceful place, perfect for relaxation with its beautiful scenery from white sand unto the blue water of the sea that is perfect for your Instagrammable shots.
So one of the famous attraction in Europe that I'm going to discuss is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or known as the Italian Torre Pendente di Pisa. It is a medieval structure in Pisa, Italy. It is famous for the settling of its foundations, which caused it to lean 5.5 degrees from the perpendicular.
Is the Grand Canal Venice, Italy, or as well called it Canal Grande, is the central artery of the Venetian life. So the Grand Canal Venice, Italy, or as well it called Canal Grande, is the central artery of Venetian life. It is the main public highway for the city. Venetians travel to work and school by boat along the Venice Grand Canal that connects to smaller canals around the city. And visitors on an Italian vacation can survey Venice's beauty from the Grand Canal Venice.
The Aurora Borealis and Blue Lagoon. Yes, the Blue Lagoon is a good place to see the northern lights because it's located further out in nature. The geothermal hot pool is nestled in the wilds of the Regines Peninsula.
One important thing you must know about Jim Project is that it is known as the top of Europe. Europe's highest train station can be found here. It's not a cheap excursion, but very unique and worth the money. Definitely a must-visit place and country for everyone. In fact, Switzerland is on the top of my dream destination list because of the mesmerizing view of mountain ranges, which can be found nowhere but none other than the country of Switzerland.